Beth Blancher, and I work with the Reading Therapy program at the Brighton School. Today, I want to talk to you. I want to read a portion of a book. And the book is entitled Fears, Doubts, Blues, and Pouts, written by H. Norman Wright and Gary J. Oliver. Now, the book inside, or the story inside of this book, is entitled Bruce the Moose and the What Ifs. And I know a lot of people have a lot of what ifs at this time, so I thought it would be a good book for everyone to enjoy. So Bruce the Moose and the What Ifs. You see his forest friends? Saturday was a special day at Wonder Woods. Every Saturday, the young animals from the edge of the forest would follow the path to the big meadow in the center of the woods. They hopped and skipped and skittered along the path, sliding down the grassy banks, crossing over the bridge, and running into the meadow with great excitement. All along the path, the friends would gather, laughing and singing their Saturday song. It's Saturday, what can you say? Let's go to the meadow and play all day. One sunny Saturday, Buford Bear crawled out of his den and lumbered down the path. When he passed the big oak tree, Rick and Rack scampered out to join him. Soon Hip Hop Bunny appeared along with Elwood Elk, who brought Norman Nightcrawler along for the ride. At the gnarly old elm tree, Brenda Blue Jay joined in. Then, out of nowhere, Cheryl Squirrel zipped past, racing circles around all of her friends. But when the happy group at last came to the point in the road, which was next to the pond near the trees where Bruce the Moose lived, he was nowhere to be seen. You see all of the forest friends, and they're out looking for Bruce the Moose. Buford turned to the others and said, "Bruce must have overslept, just like last Saturday." The big bear began to bellow. "Come on, Slowpoke, wake up! It's time to go to the meadow and play." Nearby branches began moving slowly, and soon a pair of antlers emerged. A weak voice called out, "Sorry, guys, I can't play today. I'm tired, and I don't feel very well." The forest friends looked at each other, puzzled. "That doesn't sound like our Bruce the Moose," said Elwood. "He used to love going down to the meadow." "Right," exclaimed Cheryl. "But this is the third Saturday in a row that Bruce has made some excuse not to play with us. Something must be wrong." You see, he wanted to stay in bed. Hip Hop jumped in. "Maybe if I make my famous funny face for Bruce, he'll forget what's bothering him and come out and play." "Bruce," called Cheryl, "you haven't come to the big meadow for the last 3 Saturdays. We don't think you're really sick, and you can't be that tired. What's wrong? Why don't you want to play with us?" Finally, Bruce stuck his head out of the bushes and sighed. "If I come out and play, something might happen," he said mournfully. "Yeah," answered Norman, "we might have fun." Norman laughed at the joke, but Bruce didn't join in. "I meant that something bad might happen," Bruce said. "Like what?" asked Brenda. See, he's telling his friends he's afraid to come out. "Well, what if I leave my home and clouds come, and it rains, and I slip and fall and hurt myself? Or what if I try to cross the bridge and it breaks, and I fall in the stream and everybody laughs at me? Or what if I go to the meadow and while I'm there, some robbers come and steal all my food? Or what if my parents run away while I'm gone? Or what if I make a mistake playing a game and you decide you don't want to play with me anymore?" With each new worry he thought of, Bruce's head hung lower, as if he carried heavy weights on his antlers. Before Bruce could name another what if, Brenda Bluebird blurted out, "I know what's wrong with you, Bruce." She flew to a little branch next to his worried face, looked him straight in his big brown eyes, and said, "You've got a serious case of the what ifs. You're letting those little guys boss you around and tell you what to do." "What's a what if?" asked Bruce. Brenda explained. A what if is a tiny imaginary creature that makes you think of all the bad things that might happen if you do something. Sometimes it's called worry. Everybody has what ifs, but most of the time they stay little and harmless. If you listen to your what ifs, though, they get stronger and heavier. Bruce the Moose shook his head in wonder. His what ifs clung tightly to his antlers. If you listen to the what ifs enough, you'll be too scared to do anything at all. They'll make your head hurt, upset your stomach, ruin your sleep, and take away your energy. You'll just stay at home and worry about all the terrible, awful, horrible things that might happen," said Brenda. "I had that problem once," said Norman. "In those days, my nickname was Worry Worm. I worried that it might rain hard and flood my wormhole. I worried I might be out for a midnight crawl and a bigger animal would squish me. I worried that I'd fall into the stream right when a hungry fish came by." "What did you do?" asked Bruce. "I didn't come out of my hole for a week. I worried about everything. I felt lower than Slime Slug." Then Norman stood up straight and tall as a night crawler can stand, and said, "Finally, I made up my mind. I would not let those what ifs boss me around anymore. So I told them, 'Get lost.'" "I didn't know you could do that," Bruce replied. "I thought those what ifs were right." "Of course they're not right, you goofy moose," said Cheryl matter-of-factly. If what ifs don't like the truth, they're cowards. If you tell them the truth, talk to your friends, go ahead with your plans, the what ifs will go away. They just don't like the truth. Of course they're not right. "Yeah," said Norman, "they don't know what's going to happen. They just want to keep you stuck in your hole and stop you from having fun." You see how his other friends talked about their what ifs. Elwood hadn't said anything for a while. Finally, in his mellow elk voice, he asked, "Bruce, what has hiding in the park made you feel better? Are you happier? What if the what ifs have gone away? Or are there more of them? Are you happier?" Bruce thought and thought and thought. His friends were right. Hiding hadn't helped. It had only made him feel worse. After a long pause, Cheryl kindly said, "We can't fix this problem for you, Bruce. You're going to have to go and fix it yourself. So we're going to the meadow. Just remember that we're your friends, and we really want to see you there later. You know you can do it." See all of his what ifs? They're keeping him from going to play with his friends. Slowly, the animal friends headed down the path, leaving Bruce alone with his what ifs. His head felt heavy with all the thoughts he needed to think, and the what ifs seemed to weigh a ton. He glanced up and saw what if staring him in the eyes. Why not follow his friend's advice, he wondered. "Listen, you," Bruce said sternly, "go away." The what if held on more tightly onto Bruce's antlers, and made a nasty face right in his eyes. Bruce tried to remember what Cheryl said. Yell at the what ifs. No, beat him off with a stick. No, tell him the truth. Yes, that was it, the truth. You can see him. He's going to tell those what ifs that he's not going to listen to him anymore. Hey, the truth is I'm going to leave my house and it won't rain. It's a beautiful sunny Saturday, said Bruce, sounding more sure than he felt. Suddenly, with a pop, the what if disappeared. And you there, said Bruce, carefully walking down the path. No one will come to my place and rob me while I'm gone. He heard another, and his head felt a little lighter. And my parents would never leave me alone. My friends will play with me at the meadow. It's working, thought Bruce. They started popping and going away because he was telling them he wasn't listening to them anymore. When he got to the bridge by the meadow stream, Bruce had only one what if left. He didn't want to let go. He thought he could hear it whispering in his ear. You'll never get across that bridge. It's gonna break. Give up. Go home. But instead of listening, Bruce said in his deepest moose voice, You're just plain wrong. I cross the bridge all the time, and I'll cross it again today. As the last what if disappeared, Bruce lifted his head proudly and marched over the bridge and into the meadow where his friends were waiting for him. All day he stayed and played tag and hide and seek and his very favorite game, Duck, Duck, Moose. Though the what-ifs tried to bother Bruce a few more times, he only had to tell them the truth and make them disappear. And that Saturday and all the Saturdays to follow were once again Bruce's favorite day in the Wonder Woods. So he didn't listen to them, and they all had a good time. So I hope you enjoyed the story, and I want you to remember that, we all have some little worries sometimes, and they sit on our shoulder, and that's okay. Sometimes they get a little bigger, but we certainly don't want them to get too big and keep us from doing our favorite things. So I hope you enjoyed the story. See you next time.